that showing our company actually as a hospitality services. Kak Vidi, please. Okay, so let's jump to our weekly inspirational speaker. Here is Mrs. Ayu, the co-founder and managing partner of Bali Beans. Say hello to Mrs. Ayu.
Hello, Miss Ayu.
Hello there.
Hi.
First of all, let's take a look at Mrs. Ayu inspiring journey. Here, I list to her experiences from her LinkedIn. She worked at their corporation in Dubai from 2014, about 3 years. Then in 2018, she started a business to empower women farmers through Bali Beans Coffee. So looking at her inspiring journey, actually we have some question here to answer by Mrs. Ayu by taking a look at journey. We love to know how you started this Bali Beans business. What was your reason, motivation for starting this business, and how did you get started? I'll give this time for you.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia, for having me, or thank you everyone for having me here. First of all, nice to meet you all. Feeling privileged to be here today and share a little bit about my journey, and then as well the story how I actually started Bali Beans. So actually, obviously, some people who might be know Dubai. So we everything is imported here. Not any food that coming into the country is come from different part of the world. And then obviously for me that come from Bali, that I remember everything is grown in the backyard. It comes directly, from pick something that from the backyard and you cook it straight away. And then obviously my childhood, so I was born and grew up in the family of coffee growing region. So my parents been growing coffee since 1985. And then so I decided to do something for them, on behalf, because my childhood was like literally every single day that I live is based on coffee. And then I was thought, okay, Middle East has a very big, rich culture in terms of coffee drinking. So why not to try to bring something to Dubai? And then I did that was in 2015. So I'm very proud to say that I was the first person to import Bali coffee to Dubai. And having my background work as logistic, because that's what I do. I export and import a lot of other stuff like food, like oils, like any other thing that can be moved basically. So I import it directly to Dubai, and then I make sure that I did a bit of market research just to understand like what the market like, what they like here locally and how they like the coffee. And then surprisingly, very, very good feedback. And then I thought, oh my God, okay, so Bali obviously been always depending on tourism as the islands. And I'm thinking, why not to try something like exporting? And it just, like obviously I've been away from home for like 16 years. So I've been in Dubai for that long. And then missing something that come out from Bali, it just feels so privileged. You feel a bit more close to home. And then that's where the brand come out. So the brand is come out of like, Bali. So we created a name called Bali Beans, and very lucky to be able to book the name and then get the website and get all the things done. And then that's how I actually started Bali Beans.
Wow, what a good answer and very inspiring for us. Really inspiring for me personally. I also live in a village. My father also has coffee field in a small area in North Sumatra. People know it is as one of the leading producer Robusta coffee beans, and Sidi Kalang is known to be tasty by Sidi Kalang coffee is known to be tasty by many people, I think. So we have another question we love to hear an answer from Mrs. Ayu.
Sure.
Is what do you hope to achieve with your business success? For example, financial freedom at a young age. I will give the time for you to answer this question.
Well, okay. There's a personal and then there's business way, right? For me, what do I like to achieve? Obviously, being a woman from Bali, where we are born with nothing, because the guys is taking the wheels, and the guys will be continued generations in Bali. So as women, I think is a very important to be financially independent, and that's actually the reason. One of the reason I actually decided to leave Bali, which is in 2007. the bomb in 2005, I had to support my younger brother. I also had to support my family in financially because my older brother got a motorbike accidents, and then we had to borrow a lot of money. So financially, we were a minus. So we were like poor, not just poor, but we are minus, in terms of financial. And that's where lead me to find something like, what can I find something that's sustainable, that I can get an income, that because that during the time that we had Balinese bombing in 2002 and 2005. So at a young age, I have already to think about the future. I'm like, what if another bombing happened? Because it was so hard to get a job in 2005, and especially for someone like me who not very highly educated or have very specific education. And then I'm thinking like, how can I find different solution, and then whereby I can get sustainable income. And that's why I decided to kind of get a job abroad in the UAE, which is United Arab Emirates. And then obviously getting into being a Balinese as a woman, obviously. And then I think for us as a Balinese, we really need to be independent in terms of the financial side of it. Like I mentioned earlier, not all of us are lucky to be born and given very high education by the family. So I think should be encouragement to us to work harder for us, because then obviously the same thing as a woman, we also have to be focused with to give a good life to a family, and then just to be a backup to our other half, which is husband or partners. So yeah, so that's how the financially I think is a very important as a woman. And plus, as obviously in Bali, we've been depending on tourism quite a lot, and then why not to shift our focus as well to something that we can bring out of Bali, which is not in tourism, because everyone drinks coffee, and then I would say 95% of population drink coffee. And then we feel, I mean, like we very privileged to be able to say that Bali producing a lot of agriculture that we can use potentially, where many countries like in the UAE, like where I am at the moment, we don't grow anything here, so everything is imported. And then I just thought of why not to utilizing what we got, the rich soil that we have in Bali, to bring something out of Bali. So that is my answer.
Thank you so much for your answer, Miss, which make our minds more open to being independent, maybe. And we would like to know to the last question from you. We would love to know the last is what's the Bali Beans coffee from others?
What the difference from Bali Beans coffee to others? I think, well, first of all, it's been grown, in with love with from my parents. Obviously, is their legacy. They've been encouraging me to actually, well, they've been growing coffee in sustainable without use of chemicals or anything that could harm, like any like harmful fertilizers to soil, to environment. And then I don't know if you met my dad. He is actually 80 years old plus, and he's still very active and young. And I just love nature, because I think nature has given us everything, but somehow we as a human we mix it up with chemical to make sure we secure the stuff. And then Bali beans is grown obviously in our own soil in Bali, and then it's grown by my family, and along with female farmers that I supporting. I'm very proudly to empower them as well. And then yeah, and then we trying to do a movement. Well, not trying, but doing a movement where we agreed to basically not just growing coffee sustainable, but then also just removing away the farmers from the chemicals. Then they don't have breeding with them every day, and it's just to create more environments whereby much more healthier for me, us as a farmers, but it's also consumers. Because I just think what we investing today to ourselves is we going to harvest it one day, a long line of the life, which is another 15 or 20 years. So just we want to make sure that the food chain is healthy for us, and then the same time as well, like cutting the food chain shorter. So basically, with the way how Bali beans work right now is actually from farm to cup straight away, so the coffee doesn't travel long journey from the farmers, which usually going to like local brokers. The local brokers will take it to different local brokers again, and then usually goes to like exporter, and then the exporter will supply the coffee to kind of importer, and then the importer will supply the coffee to coffee company, and then the coffee company supplied to a coffee shop, restaurants, and then it goes to us. So it's a very long journey before actually the coffee made it to your cup. And then with Bali Beans, the difference is like it coming directly from our farm to your cup straight away. And then just imagining, like, drink something that you know where it come from. Anyone can walk in anytime at Bali Beans to see our farm and to meet my family, and then to see how we grow and we farm them. People do soil tasting all the time. And that's what is the difference between us. And then it just, make it life is easier. If we can make it easier, why make it complicated?
Okay. Thank you so much for telling us the difference. That's quite clarifying. I see in your web in Bali Bean, your premium coffee is ground by local Balinese farmers who practice the Subak Abian, I think.
Yes.
Could you let us know what about Subak Abian, please?
So Subak Abian is the way how we join force together with all the farmers to grow coffee in the same way. So as you know, in Bali, we don't really own a lot of land as any other countries, because in Bali we have a called like a banjar or desa system. We decided to dividing on land we got each to be able to keep the tradition. So with all this tradition way of Balinese people, we join force together with a lot of farmers from the same village to grow coffee in the same way, and then the same time is to also facilitate the crop, and then the way we process it, and then we sell it together. So it's basically like a group of farmers to kind of work together to make the best product possible, and then distributing it in the same routing. So that's a Subak Abian.
All right. Thank you so much for your answer, Miss. I think anyone else want to ask Mrs. Ayu?
Sure. I have an immediate question for Miss Ayu. Hi, Miss Ayu. How you doing?
I'm
This
very
is
good.
fantastic. I think your story is truly inspirational. And it's inspirational for me because I'm like the opposite, right? So I'm a foreigner that came to Bali, started a business here. What do you think is, let's say, a strength of being Balinese and working in a foreign country like UAE? What do you think is something that also creates a change in mindset as you live and work abroad?
Oh, yeah. It changed a lot of way you see the world. That is 100%. In the way, obviously, for me, like, coming out from like a small village, which is in Plaga. I don't know if any one of you been to Plaga. It's a very tiny village. And then we did not have electricity until 1996. So I used to go to school with a very black nose with that little lamb that. And then somehow, obviously, life full of surprises. That's how I can say. And yeah, 2007, I decided, like, oh my God, I'm so brave, because that's the only option I had. I think when human had no option, right? When we are as a human, we don't have no option. We'll just take anything that come out to us, right? So when I offered a job to Dubai, and then as a woman, it was very uncommon things that time in 2007, if I must say. And for Balinese to work abroad, and then got a lot of different like comments like from my family, and like, what were you doing and stuff. But I was like, no, what I seen from TV, because TV the only thing we have the time, and even though it's not much channels and stuff, and then I'm gonna do it anyway. So I changed my mindset since then. So it's not that the mindset I changed it when I landed in Dubai. Obviously I grow with Dubai, and then because I think the changes can start anywhere, and then it's depending what you want to do in life. And obviously for me, like from, like growing in a coffee environment as a farmers, because my life as a child, we always like depending ourselves on the coffee crop that we got only once a year, so our everyday life, we depending on that crop. So it was like not an easy life for me, so. And I always sometimes take my time to sit under the coffee trees and imagining what my future will be like. I go to school, and then I'll be having a successful career. So you have to dream so big from when you're little, I would say, right? And then that's where actually lead me to Dubai. And then obviously Dubai in 2007 is like a just startup growing country, like it was desert, like literally it's only a few towers around. And then like all a village, smaller than Bali, a lot smaller. Is only few hotels. And I was like, we have accommodation. So I work, actually my first job in Dubai is actually work in the hotel, guys, because that's what we've been taught in Bali, right? Work in a hotel, work in hospitality. And then how actually, obviously for me, I'm like, okay, I landed as a very young person. And then I'm thinking, okay, this is the country that I have to make out of something. And I think I'm believing in it. And I see the visions of Dubai. They have a massive visions. They want to build something, the biggest, the tallers. And then it's very in line to what my childhood dream is. And then that's what like, so my mindset was changed since I decided to leave Bali and then obviously growth with Dubai. And then now, after 16 years of living here in Dubai, I very much achieved what I need to do, and to be able to build my, to go home to Bali, to build my own company as a Balinese. But my journey doesn't stop here. So my journey is actually continue, because to build a company is the easiest part, but I think running the company is more challenging, right? And then
Yeah.
I would say, obviously for me, like a lot of people sees me as a successful person and stuff, and obviously to where I come from to where I am today, and yes, I have improved myself a lot, and I improved my family life, and then I give inspiration to people, but to the journey that I wanted to be. So I'm still a long way, because those mindset that actually come from, obviously, from Bali, and then living in Dubai, and Dubai has a very what's called a big vision, and then the same in line with me as a childhood. So that's how actually my mindset changed.
It's very inspirational. Thank you very much. Were there any specific things you think about like your upbringing that were, let's say, a strategic advantage over what you experienced in Dubai? Was, let's say, Balinese playfulness, open-mindedness, whatever. Could you see that as like the parts of your upbringing that made you more advantaged than people in the environment where you started your business?
Yes. Oh my God. You know what I mentioned about life full of surprises? Life is a circle. And that's why the Bali Beans logo is actually full circle. Obviously, it is, very privileged to say come from Bali. Everyone in the world, I would say now, like they knows Bali very much, right? Because of the people. And then that is very true, because we don't have very great infrastructure. We don't have, we are very chaotic in Bali. If anyone have been in abroad and been experienced different country, in a way, like certain thing that we do in Bali is not very well organized. And then yes, and the people still love Bali, and then people come back for us because of the people, because we are very kind. And then obviously for me, that skill, I would say I call it skill, because obviously we are obviously in Bali not very well high educated as well. Not many school was recognized 2007. It's only probably one of international school that time. And obviously for me as a Balinese, I wouldn't be able to even dream to afford it to school. And then the only thing that I have that I brought with me to Dubai is basically kindness, and then open-minded to something that what other country has to offer. And at the same time, as a woman, we need to be very careful, because obviously challenge to be a woman is a lot more of like, to get the, people to trying to, different thing as woman, this. I don't need to explain it too detail on that. And then so it's just being like strong to know also what you want in life, and then to you focus on your goal. And then this is very, very important, because then it will lead you to where you need it to be. So those kind of thing, I think kindness and listen and open-minded is a very important. But at the same time, you have to stay true to yourself, to know what you want to do in life, and then focus on your goal.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think oftentimes people forget that those are strengths, and those are actually very rare abroad too as well. So thank you.
I think that's all for the question. Thank you, Miss Ayu, for sparing your time from Dubai to here with us to sharing your inspirational story. You can stay here if you want to stay to see the rest of our meeting. But if you have another things to do, you can leave this meeting. Thank you so much, Miss.
Thank you so much, Ayu.
You're welcome, guys. So, really nice privilege, and I hope it's helped you guys to, to be inspired. And I think for me, it's just like feeling privileged to be here. And then I wish you all good luck. And whatever you do in life, do it very, focused, and then don't quit, don't give up. So whatever you guys doing in life, just work it one step at a time. So that's all I say. So thank you so much for having me. And then unfortunately I have to leave actually. So I'll leave you guys to it. And then I hope to see you around, and obviously maybe, say hi to me when, you guys come to Bali Beans or something. So anything, feel free to ask me personal as well. So please feel free to share my WhatsApp. So I'll be happy to also to share if someone want to speak like personal talk with me, and then, to give them a little bit of, life experience and stuff. So please feel free to do that.
Thank you so much, Miss Ayu.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, boy. Okay, Cynthia, please proceed with the rest of the all hands.
I think we can continue the next session as we are already doing our weekly inspiration. And next session will continue by Kak Fidi.
Hey, thank you very much, everyone. I'll be your moderator for this week, and we'll continue with Mr. Jing, weekly mission statement from Mr. Jing first.
Okay, thank you very much, Vidi. And thank you actually to the team that brought Ayu here. I thought that was actually one of our very, very good speakers. It's actually it's kind of remarkable sometimes when we live somewhere and we might not even be conscious of our own strengths. And it's not until you change your environment or